This is the first lesson of our unit on percentages. This unit is one of the easier units we will cover this year. It's a chance for everybody to get really high scores on everything and get a really high score on your tests. So today we're covering percent, decimal, and fractions and going between them. First thing we're going to do is change each of these percents to a decimal. Now, the word percent means per 100, or a number out of 100. So 78% as a decimal would be 78 divided by 100, which is 0.78. All we really have to do to turn a percentage into a decimal is move the decimal place 2 places to the left. So you could imagine a decimal point between the 8 and the percent symbol, and we simply move the decimal 2 places to the left. So we get 0.78. 34% as a decimal would be 0.34. Because again, we move the decimal 2 places to the left. 5% as a decimal, if I move it 2 places to the left, I have a blank space that gets filled in with a 0. So 5% is really 0.05. 135%, if I move the decimal 2 places to the left, ends up between the 1 and the 3, so it's 1.35. And 234%, if I move the decimal 2 places to the left, gives me 2.34. So moving from a percent to a decimal is very easy. Now, changing a decimal to a percentage is just the opposite. So I would to change 0.20 to a percent, I would simply move the decimal 2 places to the right. So it would be 20%. For 0.56, the percent would be 56%. For 0.05, move it 2 places to the right, it would be 5%. 1.34 would become 134%. And now this one, when I move it 2 places to the right, I end up with 0.6%. Now, another skill we need to know is to write each percent as a fraction. And we said before that a percent means per 100. So 25% means 25 per 100. And you can reduce this as well if you wish. 25 over 100 is 1/4. Either answer would be fine. 78% as a fraction would be 78 over 100. And again, you can reduce 78 if you wish over 100 to 39 over 50. I simply divided both numbers by 2. 5% as a fraction would be 5 over 100. That reduces to 1/20th if you divide both by 5. Again, either answer will be fine. 18% turns into 18 out of 100 and can be reduced to 9 over 50 by dividing both by 2. 132% would be 132 divided by 100. I can reduce that to 66 over 50 or 33 over 25 by simply dividing these by 2 twice. But any of these answers would suffice. And now we want to write each fraction as a decimal, then a percent. So we're going to do 2 things. So when you have a fraction, the easiest thing to do is simply divide it on your calculator. 1 divided by 4, which will give you 0.25. Then to turn that into a percent, we simply move the decimal 2 places to the right. 0.25 is the same as 25%. 4/9, again, all you have to do on your calculator is take 4 divided by 9. We get 0.44. We can round to 0.44, that's fine. 2 decimal places is great for a decimal. And then to change that to a percent would be 44%. 12 out of 56. When I divide it, I get 0.21. And again, as a percent would be 21%. 123 divided by 98 is 1.26 as a decimal. And when I move the decimal 2 places to the right, it's 126%. Anytime the top of the fraction, the numerator, is bigger than the bottom of the fraction, the denominator, we're going to get over 100%. And then 6 divided by 20 is 0.3. And I move the decimal 2 places to the right. And if there isn't a number there, you just fill in a 0. So it's 30%. If we had the same number over itself as a fraction, when you divide it, you'd get 1. And when you move the decimal 2 places to the right, that would give you 100%. So when the two fractions are equal, the numerator and the denominator, that means 100%. If the numerator is bigger than the denominator, we're going to get over 100%. When the numerator is less than the denominator, we're going to get something under 100%.